Let's talk about the schedule for Louisville just a little bit. Should get off to a pretty good start with a couple of cupcakes to start the year, but then get rolling really quickly in ACC play at Pitt, who was a weird team last year.
Hmm.
Started out winning their first seven, lost their next six. We play Pitt early, and so I am a little bit interested to see what they look like to start the year out. But to me, we talked about this earlier. You play, I think, the best three teams in the conference. If Louisville's part of that best three, then you play the three of the best other teams in the conference. Right, that's not a
Sure.
shot by any means. But Clemson, SMU, Miami, two teams that made the playoff. One team that was just on the outside looking in and probably had just as good of an argument as anybody else to get in there. You play three really good teams, the best in the conference. And outside of that, the schedule to me screams just take care of your business, right? Like if you, what I would say for Louisville is if you just win all the games you're supposed to win, you can't have a Stanford last year, right?
No,
So you
no.
need to go on the road, I think, and beat Pitt. I think Louisville is better than Pitt. But then it comes down to those big three games. And can you find a way? Clemson coming into town is extremely tough. You got to go on the road for the other two. Can you find a way to win one of those? Can you find a way to go 10-2, right? And,
Mhm.
and maybe Louisville fans wouldn't be thrilled with 10-2, but 10-2 probably gets you in the playoff, right? Like 10-2 probably gets you really close to where you need to be. And if you do any better than that, then certainly you've got an even better chance. But I think the schedule, though it is tough, like there's no doubt that this is a tough schedule. Clemson and SMU in back-to-back games, like this is not an easy one by any means when you look at an ACC schedule. Out of conference, not extremely tough. I don't think that the rivals are going to be back anytime soon. Like they're just an absolute mess right now. Beginning part, you should start out 3-0, really 5-0, heading down to Miami if you can win on the road at Pitt. So it's tough, but I do think it's manageable.
You said we played some cupcakes to start off the season. I thought we played Kentucky the last game of the year.
Very end of the year, yeah.
Okay, okay. No, absolutely. And this is the second year in a row we've had to play that trio of teams, and we were a turnover away that should have been. I hate to be the cry foul, but like honestly, we were driving to win the game versus SMU uh, when a turnover was called that shouldn't have been called a turnover. So that game should have been different. We are going. Are we traveling to Miami? Yes, we're
Yeah.
traveling.
No.
No, we have them at home.
No. You have them on the road.
Okay, okay. So, and the last time we played them there, we it was a shootout. Mr. Plummer, Jay Plummer, as I like to call him, took care of business in the shootout there. So yeah, I mean, the demon this year becomes, can you beat Clemson at home? You got that chip off your shoulder beating them in Death Valley last year. Um, it really just depends, and you know how I am a wait and see type of guy. So I need to see some spring ball. I need to see if this team looks better via the eye test before I come on here and say, which this is probably your tagline. Louisville expert predicts 12-0 start. Um, but
16-0 finish.
16-0 national champs, baby. Let's go.
I will get right back to chatting with Jeremy, but first, I want to give some love to our friends over at BetUS. Make sure you're using the code YouTube150 for a 150% sign up bonus on your first deposit, 125% on your next two. All of that up to $2,000, whether you're betting on March Madness, the NBA, NHL, MLB coming up here soon. Make sure you're using our friends over at BetUS. Only game we're
Cardinals,
losing is the spring game.
yeah. ACC title game lock by Louisville expert. No,
Uh,
but no, I'm a wait and see. Same way I've been with the basketball team this season. I've had to wait and see, and I've been pleasantly surprised there. That's the way I handle the football team every year. We can all talk, we can all hype teams up, and then the first game they look like complete crap, and we're like, well, was it really just our team playing against our team that made us look so good? So I'm a wait and see type of guy. But if we are anything like last year's team, uh, then this should be 10-2 should be the floor. It shouldn't be the ceiling.
Coaches are so good at coach speak. And so if you were to ask um, this question, like in a media availability or a press conference, if you were to say, Coach, what are your expectations for the year? He would say, What they all would say, man, we just want to get a little bit better every week. We want to be accountable to ourselves. We want to go out there and play with everything we've got every week and worry about the result. Okay, I get it, right? Like every coach in America says those things, and that's great. What if you really just were like at the bar watching football with him, watching no, not football because it's not on, baseball with him, right? College baseball or college basketball or whatever's on right now. If you were just one on one and it wasn't going anywhere, and you said like, Coach, I'm not going to report on that. What would he truly tell you his expectations are this year? Like your read on it right now. None of that coach speak, none of that BS. Like you're really kind of diving deep here. What would he say his expectations are this year?
Well, that's funny because we do have availability with him tomorrow, and if I were to ask him that tomorrow, he would say, "Jeremy, it's February." That would be the answer. But if it was in an impersonal type of setting, I, I think he's thinking double digit wins. I mean, you have to if you truly believe you got better via the portal and via recruiting, why would you not think that you would at least do a couple of games better? So that would be my guess. Um, I don't have as close of a even though he's a hometown hero, I don't have as close of a relationship with him as I have other coaches in the past, working on that. But I feel like he's very realistic. He's very down to earth, and I feel like he would say, let's do at least what we did last year, but let's try to better it a little bit.
Yeah. No, I agree. I feel like if they can get around there, if they can be in that discussion in November for the ACC championship, it is so hard now with how many teams are in conferences and how tough schedules can be compared to how easy other schedules can be. I mean, this isn't a massive shot at SMU, but most teams in the conference, not Florida State, most teams in the conference would have been fighting for Charlotte with SMU's schedule, right? And so, like, I do think that you have one team that plays the best four teams in the conference, and you have one team that plays one of the top seven teams in the conference. Well, yeah, like unbalanced schedules are a real thing. Hopefully, something that this conference can try to fix. I don't know. They got obviously bigger issues than scheduling on their hands right now, but yeah, no, I agree. I think if they can be in that discussion, if the Clemson and SMU games like matter for those are so late in the year. All football matters. I'm not one of these people that thinks that football doesn't matter. But if the Clemson SMU games matter for Charlotte, I think Louisville's probably having a pretty successful season. Now, if Clemson and SMU are like 7-6, if we think that those teams are going to be good too, and those games matter, then I think that those are games that I think that Louisville's having the kind of season that you expect. The fan base, I get last one on this one. Then the fan base, would 10 wins make the fan base happy? Like, would that be enough progress? I mean, fans are fanatical, right? So, like, if you don't go 12-0, that's not good enough. But for like the fans who do use a little bit of sense, right, which is tough in this sport. 10 wins, that feels like progress to me as an outsider that we talk to just about every week this season, like watching Louisville games, covering, doing recaps, everything else. Like, I mean, I'm not a Louisville fan. I might be wearing the colors today, but 10 wins would probably make me happy.
I believe that if you are wanting to be considered a team on the rise, a team that not every team has been a powerhouse their whole existence. Teams have to take those steps. If you want to be a team that takes those steps, 10 wins needs to be your expectation, especially under a coach like this who's bringing in players like he is. So yes, I feel like a majority of you're still going to have your nut balls that are like 10 wins. We only got 10 wins. Fire him, but that's just. I think 10 wins. I know that I would be happy with 10 wins. We've not really had that many 10-win seasons in our existence, and we've already had a couple. We had one with Plummer, and did we get 10 last year? Or did we get stuck at 9? I think we got stuck at 9 with the bowl game. Regardless, we've already almost had two seasons under him at that, and I have no doubt that he's going to get us to a place where he's averaging 10 wins a season.